Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to Newsroom. I'm your host, Khalid. But today is the 28th of July 2022. These are the stories that we'll be discussing in detail during the course of the show. We'll begin with the deteriorating situation of the Jammu and Kashmir Liberation Front chairman Yasin Malik Saab. A lot of important leaders have talked about this deteriorating health. Nevertheless, India is not moving a finger or the international body as far as the rights for the people of Indian illegally occupied Jammu and Kashmir is concerned, whether it be our Foreign Minister Bilawal Bhutto Zardari Saab or the senior leader of the All Parties Hurriyat, the conference Mirwais Umar Farooq. They have all reiterated the fact that Yasin Malik Saab's health continues to deteriorate as he is on a hunger strike. This is going to be our first story, the deteriorating health of Yasin Malik Saab and the non-commitment of India or any world body as far as moving forward as far as the rights of the people of India illegally occupied Jammu and Kashmir are concerned. Our second story, ladies and gentlemen, concerns of course Foreign Minister Bilawal Bhutto Zardari Saab, who is leading a Pakistani delegation at the two-day Shanghai Council of Foreign Ministers meeting in Tashkent from today. This is a two-day conference that is being held in Uzbekistan. It's a very important meeting. It will lay the grounds for the heads of state meeting that is going to be held later in September this year. The importance of the SCO is paramount under the current geostrategic and geopolitical scenario that is evolving across the world and in this region as well. And the fact that it consists of many important countries is also very important, as many important topics could be discussed during this meeting. And of course, Bilawal Bhutto Zardari Sahab is also going to meet other of his compatriots from different countries of the SCO during this two-day visit. This is going to be our second story, that is the importance of the Shanghai Cooperation Organization. Let's come to our second story, ladies and gentlemen, that concerns the SCO. Our Foreign Minister Bilawal Bhutto Zardari Saab, who is leaving for Tashkent for a two-day important summit of the foreign ministers of the SCO. And it's not only an important meeting because in the context of the preparation of the future meeting of the heads of state of the SCO in September, but also the fact that he will be able to talk to many of his counterparts from important countries from the SCO as far as the geopolitical or geostrategic situation of the region is concerned. More in the following report.
Regional organizations like the Shanghai Cooperation Organization are perhaps the best fora to strengthen regional security and preserve world peace. The SCO is a major trans-regional multilateral organization with 8 members, including China and Russia. SCO countries are home to 41% of the global population and account for 23% of the global GDP. The resolve of the SCO to fight the menace of terrorism, promoting regional peace and security, and working for shared economic prosperity are very much in harmony with interests of Pakistan. Foreign Minister Bilawal Bhutto Zardari will lead Pakistan's delegation to the Shanghai Cooperation Organization Council of Foreign Ministers meeting in Tashkent, and the invitation to attend this meeting was extended by the acting Foreign Minister of Uzbekistan. Secretary General of the Shanghai Cooperation Organization, Ambassador Zhang Ning, earlier visited Pakistan. The 4-day visit of the SCO Secretary General provided an important opportunity for consultations at the highest level and greater understanding of Pakistan's expectations from the organization. Prime Minister Mia Mohammad Shehbaz Sharif assured Pakistan's full support in fulfillment of the purposes and objectives of the SCO. Appreciating the comprehensive development agenda of the SCO, the Prime Minister emphasized that the core purpose of the entity remained the growth and prosperity of the SCO region.
Khalid Taimur Akram Saab, who is the Executive Director of the Pakistan Research Center for a Community with Shared Future, or the PRCCSF, joins us online. Thank you very much, Khalid Saab, to have joined us. Khalid Saab, the SCO, how important do you feel the organization's role becomes now in the current geopolitical or geostrategic, of course, changes that are happening in this region and in the world?
Shanghai Cooperation Organization, or commonly known as SCO, has basically the permanent members which belong to all parts of the Central Asia, India, China, Pakistan and Russia. It is termed as equivalent to NATO within the European circles. SCO has always been playing a very important role for the regional connectivity, and Pakistan has become the permanent member of SCO in April 2017, and now Pakistan is playing a very important role in SCO, especially for the Afghan peace, and also Pakistan has been effectively promoting the regional cooperation in terms of Belt and Road in terms of the Belt and Road Initiative.
All right. Now, also, Khalid Saab, when you look at the objectives of the SCO Foreign Ministers meeting this time, I see two important points: deliberating upon important regional and international issues and improving the decisions and documents to be presented at the SCO Heads of State Summit that is going to be held in Samarkand in September of this year. Let's come to the first one: important regional and international issues. There are so many, whether it be Afghanistan, whether it be Sri Lanka, whether it be the Russia-Ukraine war, whether it be the Indo-Pacific strategy of the United States, whether it be the tussle between the US and China. There are so many important issues to discuss during the course. What do you feel are the most important amongst all of these?
Yes, first of all, the most important I feel is the issue of Afghanistan. Just 2 days back, Uzbekistan hosted a conference on the development of Afghanistan, and I happened to attend that meeting. And in that meeting, the representatives of 30 countries attended that meeting, in which the Afghan development was discussed. And for the SCO Foreign Ministers meeting, as I was told once I was in Tashkent, I was told by the Uzbek side that they have kept the Afghan development agenda at the top. Also, there is a project of Uzbekistan, Pakistan railway line through Afghanistan, which would connect Central Asia with Gwadar port. That is also very important for the Central Asian countries. And also, of course, the Russia-Ukraine war will also come and will be discussed in this meeting, since the foreign minister of Russia is also his point of view on this war. And about China, the Chinese foreign minister will also be attending. The Chinese foreign minister will mostly be concentrating on the progress of various charters of the SCO. As we know that SCO also calls upon the member states for more trade among themselves, and unfortunately, due to the harsh behavior of Indian side, even in the SCO, we have seen that the regional trade has not been up to the mark. And I hope and pray that this time the Indian side will have some sense, and the Indian foreign minister, who will be also attending this meeting, will cooperate with the SCO member states.
Now, Khalid Saab, if you remember some days back, Zhang Meng, who's a Secretary General of the SCO, visited Pakistan. A lot of important details were discussed during his 4-day visit to Pakistan. And one of the things was the Shanghai spirit. How important do you feel is this Shanghai spirit? And how much do you feel it will be deliberated upon during the meeting of the foreign ministers?
Yes, if we go back to the history of the SCO, SCO was initially formed as Shanghai 5. Actually, that was basically China's cooperation with the Central Asian countries. And later on, China included other countries in it, and it became Shanghai Cooperation Organization. So the Shanghai spirit, basically, if we go back and if we see in the literal meaning, it is basically China's cooperation with the regional countries, which now involves Pakistan, India, and South Asian countries. And it also revolves around the connectivity between the Central and South Asia, because for China, CPEC is one of the important in the 6 corridors of the Belt and Road Initiative. And since the CPEC is to be completed by 2030, all the corridors will also be completed by that time. So now this is the time that the Shanghai spirit, the actual Shanghai spirit which China is calling upon, is to start the regional connectivity through regional trade, through cultural connectivity, through exchange of cultural troupes, to understand each other, so that in times to come, the Belt and Road Initiative, which is the infrastructure project, would turn up into a good regional connectivity trade platform.
All right, Khalid Saab, let's talk about spoilers such as India. You remember very well just 1 or 2 days back that India had objected as far as extending this China-Pakistan economic corridor is concerned. Do you feel it might change its mind during the course of this SCO moot, or during the heads of state meeting that is going to be held in September? Or do you feel that India is going to be adamant as far as its point of view is concerned, as far as the CPEC is concerned?
Yes, this is very interesting, because just 3 days back, once I was in Tashkent, I happened to talk to the Indian delegation over there, and I was quite amazed to find out that India is still not ready to become part of Belt and Road program, because India still hopes that America and the European Union will materialize that so-called dream corridor which India is planning. So India is not likely to accept Belt and Road Corridor, the Belt and Road Initiative program, not in this SCO, not on this SCO platform, but maybe China and India can negotiate later on, and India would become part of CPAC or Belt and Road. But personally, I feel that in times to come, India will have no other option other than joining the regional corridors, because all the regional countries surrounding India are not only part of these Belt and Road Initiative programs and corridors, may it be Bhutan, may it be Nepal, may it be Sri Lanka, may it be Pakistan. So all the Central Asian countries, and South Asian countries are part of this program. So in times to come, India will get isolated, and they will with offer to China to become part of it. But right now, it is not on India's agenda, and they are still very hopeful that the European Union and America would help India in forming a trade corridor between India and Europe.
Now, with this adamant attitude as far as India is concerned, where does that leave the main objectives of the Shanghai Cooperation Organization that talk about promoting mutual confidence and good neighborly relations among member states and strengthening regional peace, security and stability?
Let me take you back to the moment Mr. Vajpayee came to power, Mr. Modi came to power. If you remember, he had a slogan that neighbors first. But now, once he's at the end of his second tenure, we have found out that with neighbor first, he means that he would start fighting with all the neighbors, and literally India does not enjoy any good relationship with any of its neighbors. India has dispute with Pakistan, India has a dispute with China, India has a border dispute with even Nepal also. So India is not likely to, especially in the present regime, India is not likely to improve their stance, and they are not likely to act on any of the SCO charters also. And since 2017, we have seen that India and Pakistan became full members. Pakistan has almost fulfilled all the obligations which were there in the charter of the Shanghai Cooperation Organization. But we have seen India not fulfilling a majority of them, especially in terms of the trade, especially in terms of the easy visa regime for the SCO countries, and in terms of developing people-to-people contact. So we have seen India not acting on these things, which of course, once the head of the states will be meeting in September, I think this should be in the agenda, that where the Shanghai Cooperation Organization Secretary General and the other people should be asking India that why they have not been fulfilling the basic charter commitments which India signed along with Pakistan in April 2017.
Now, amongst the objectives of the Shanghai Cooperation Organization is to develop a framework for cooperation in different spheres. And of course, we've talked about trade, we've talked about people-to-people contact, but there's also political sphere. Therein also there's a huge issue between India and Pakistan, especially on Indian illegally occupied Jammu and Kashmir. Then there is culture, science, technology, education, energy, transportation, connectivity, tourism, environment protection. There are a lot of other issues as well. Do you feel the countries are on the same page, maybe as far as environmental protection is concerned, transportation is concerned, energy, education is concerned?
Yes, before going to India, let me first tell you about the commitments which Pakistan have been fulfilling in last 4 or 5 years. We have signed the agreement of railway with Afghanistan and Uzbekistan. A railway line will be laid from Tashkent to Mazar-e-Sharif to Peshawar, and ultimately it would link with Gwadar Port and Karachi Port. Then the work in full swing is going on in Kasa 1000 project, in Tapi project, which are the energy projects. In addition to that, the road connectivity between Pakistan and Central Asia is being developed through Afghanistan. Pakistan in last couple of years has started the easy visa regime for the regional countries also. So Pakistan has been a very responsible partner in the Shanghai Cooperation Organization, and all the regional countries see Pakistan's role in Shanghai Cooperation Organization as of a very responsible state. And let me also tell you that Pakistan has not used SCO for any kind of dispute resolution or anything, because Pakistan views that all the disputes Pakistan is fully capable of resolving by itself, and we have not sought any kind of help from SCO. Now coming over to India, let's see India's last 5-year commitment with SCO. No worthwhile project has been started by India with the SCO countries. Rather, India in the last 5 years has been focusing on the projects with the USA, with the European Union, and with the other countries. And India, it seems that India is part of SCO just for the sake of it, but not for becoming a useful member of it. Or India may think that India will be able to make SCO as a dead horse like SAARC, but let me tell you that China and Russia and all other partners in the SCO are very serious, and they would not let SCO become a dead horse like SAARC and over there, because in SCO India cannot influence to any of the countries, and Pakistan's role has always been acknowledged by all the regional states.
There are so many other countries, Khalid Sahab, apart from Pakistan and India, that are part of the SCO. You just talked about some of them. But there are other issues of cooperation that could be tackled in the current situation as well. For example, environment, and we've seen the environmental pollution. We've seen how Pakistan and India both are affected by it. We've seen how air pollution affects it during the crop season, the height of the crop season, how by burning the crops, it causes a lot of air pollution as well, heat waves and so many other things. Don't you feel a common consensus could be developed on that? Then education as well. Don't you feel the countries could get together to evolve some kind of a system of providing quality education to all of the SCO countries?
Yes, first of all, let me tell you about the climate change. I strongly feel that SCO must develop a regional platform for the climate change. Unfortunately, in our region, in South Asia, Central Asian region, we do not have any particular independent organization which deals with the climate change, as the climate of the regional countries affect each other. So yes, this is a very good idea, and hopefully the SCO head of the states would ponder upon them, and SCO will have a climate change theme, or take climate change as one of their major issues. Up till now, there is no regional mechanism, but hopefully it will be. Secondly, as far as education is concerned,
yes.
Yes. As far as education is concerned, let me tell you that I'll again give the example of Pakistan, that in last 5 years, Pakistan has started recognizing the degrees of Uzbekistan, Kyrgyzstan, Kazakhstan, and right now there are thousands of Pakistani students who are studying in these countries, and Pakistani universities have started offering special packages for the students coming from this region. This is quite a good achievement, and SCO is currently working. The SCO Secretariat in Beijing is currently working a lot to get countries closer on the platform of academia, think tanks, and people-to-people contact.
All right. What about science and technology? Do you feel some kind of mechanism could be evolved during the course of this year? We've got the meeting of the foreign ministers, then of course of the heads of state. Do you feel it's an important point that needs to be catered to?
Yes, it's a very important point because science and technology, and especially information technology, is one of the core areas on which the SCO Secretariat is working. Let me also tell you that right now the SCO chairmanship is with Uzbekistan, and the Uzbek president, His Excellency Shaukat Mirziyoyev, is quite a dynamic man, and the new foreign minister of Uzbekistan, Norov is the former Secretary General of the SCO. So this is quite a combination where tomorrow the former Secretary General of the SCO, who just finished his 3 years tenure in this January, will be hosting all the SCO country foreign ministers. So he is in a very comfortable position to talk about the problems and to talk about the issues which SCO is facing. And the SCO, since the presidentship of the SCO is with Uzbekistan, so the president of Uzbekistan has made it a special point that this year he will be talking on the IT, on railway connectivity, on road connectivity with the SCO heads of the states, because we know that most of the SCO countries, especially the Central Asian countries, are landlocked countries. They do not have access to various things, and they are.
And Uzbekistan itself is a doubly landlocked country. You talked about landlocked, yes. The country that is hosting is a doubly landlocked country.
Yes, it's a double landlocked country, and then we have Tajikistan. It is also a double landlocked country. So they are very much looking forward towards the bigger partners like China and Pakistan, because we are the closest to them, and they look forward towards Pakistan and China for laying the new fiber cable, the new fiber cable which they want to get linkage to the marine cable which is coming.
Let's hope, Khalid Taimur Akram Saab, that during the course of this meeting of the foreign ministers, and then inshallah in September when the heads of state will meet, that some kind of common consensus comes out in this current day and age where there are different issues that plague the world. The SCO becomes a very, very important and paramount organization for the countries of this region to forge a united consensus on important issues and to be one on important topics that pertain to our region. And I think the SCO, inshallah, in the days and months to come, will prove to be exactly that. Thank you very much, Khalid Taimur Akram Saab, Executive Director, PRCCSF, to have joined us to talk about the foreign ministers meeting of the members of the Shanghai Cooperation Organization that will be happening in Uzbekistan. Our foreign minister, Bilawal Bhutto Zardari Saab, is going with the delegation there as well. Let's hope for the best.